Welcome to Hugh Jeff, your ticket to the past. Here you'll see rare, forgotten, and sometimes shocking photographs. Each picture tells a story. Subscribe now and join us on a journey through history's hidden archives. Before we begin, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? And if you have a story or a memory from the past, share it too. We love reading them, and so do other viewers. Some folks sitting in a horseless carriage from the first New York Auto Show in 1900. Salvador Dali on a carriage drawn by his goat, 1953. The cloud from an A-bomb test stretches out and floats away over the desert, by Dave Cicero, Nevada, 1957. The Painter of the Eiffel Tower, Paris, 1953. Jack Nicholson chilling out during filming of The Shining in Colorado, 1980. David Bowie and Iggy Pop, Copenhagen Railway Station, 1976. A young Arnold Schwarzenegger This is the Statue of Liberty, under construction in Paris in 1884. Billy Sianis and his beer-drinking goat, 1940. Johnny Cash with his guitar, Nashville, Tennessee, 1960. Muhammad Ali talking a young man out of jumping. This Rio de Janeiro, 1984. A dog holds on to a little boy as he tries to retrieve a ball in a river with his golf club, 1920s. Car show in the 1950s. American heavyweight boxer Cassius Clay in a mock victory pose over the Beatles, 1964. Audrey Hepburn in the Congo, 1958. The gorgeous Marilyn Monroe, circa 1950s. Ernest Hemingway boxing in Africa. John Lennon and Yoko Ono, Pose on the steps of the Apple Building in London, 1969. Parking at the Grand Canyon, 1914. An American soldier at an advanced Allied base with his pet kangaroo, 1942. A young boy saluting his father at his grave. Henri Matisse in his apartment in Nice, 1910. Louis Armstrong and Johnny Cash, 1970. Flatiron Building, New York, in 1904. Charlie Chaplin and Mahatma Gandhi, 1931. Last Prisoners of Alcatraz leaving, 1963. Dummy head, used by John Anglin to fool prison guards, Alcatraz, 1962. George Harrison's original lyrics for Here Comes the Sun, 1969. When a man loves cats, I am his friend and comrade, without further introduction. Mark Twain. A 5-megabyte hard drive being loaded onto a Pan Am plane, 1956. Model and actress Jean Shrimpton walks barefoot in the rain, down King's Road, London, 1964. Martin Luther King, Jr., circa 1963. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius, 1944. A little boy has a surprise for his girlfriend. A British soldier shaking hands with a kitten in the snow. Noulette, France, 1917s. Nap Time, Woodstock, 1969. All this technology is making us antisocial. Indiana School Children's Class in Gun Safety, 1956. Civil Rights March, Washington, 1963. Two young men enjoying Woodstock, 1969. Atari Computer Demonstration, 1979. A U.S. Marine feeds an orphan kitten during the Korean War, 1953. Iconic aerial shot of Muhammad Ali defeating Williams, 1966. The Beatles at the EMI Studios in Abbey Road, 1967. Robert Kennedy stops for lunch while campaigning for his brother in Bluefield, West Virginia, 1960. Harrison Ford in his high school yearbook. David Bowie and Iggy Pop in Moscow, 1976. A Dog and Cat in Paris. George Harrison, enjoying a cup of tea. Two high school students in their Cadet Corps uniforms at a dance, 1948. In 1976, a prankster did this to the Hollywood sign in honor of California relaxing marijuana laws. "13-year-old Mila Jovovich, walking the streets of New York, 1946. Marilyn Monroe, performing to troops in Korea, 1954. The only existing photo of a quagga, a plains zebra that is now extinct, London, 1870. A game of human chess, St. Petersburg, then Leningrad, Russia, 1924. The smallest shop in London, 1910. Occupied by a cobbler, the shop is 6 feet long, 5 feet high, and 2 feet deep. Baby Jimi Hendrix, early 1940s. A 16-year-old Sid Vicious going to a David Bowie concert at Earl's Court, 1973. Early morning train in Japan, 1964. New York in the snow, circa 1905. A French soldier feeding his kitten, Indochina, 1956. Leatherwood, Kentucky, 1964. Afghan villager brings American troops occupying his village a cup of tea as a sign of hospitality. Oskar Schindler greeted by 300 Holocaust survivors in Jerusalem, May 1st, 1962. President John F. Kennedy and Jackie Kennedy photo booth. Larry Hagman and Barbara Eden in I Dream of Jeannie, 1960s. Alfred Hitchcock and Sean Connery, 1964. Little Inuit Girl and Her Puppy, 1949. A stylish duo, Pattie Boyd and Tom Courtenay, in The London Rain, 1963. Patti Smith, Chelsea Hotel, 1971. The Two Types of Boys in London, 1937. Russians wait in line outside a new McDonald's fast food restaurant in Moscow, 1991. Atmospheric photograph of Waterloo Place, London in 1899. Cross-section of the Titanic. Arnold Schwarzenegger on a bike, 1970s. Diana Ross at Studio 54, circa 1979. Frank Sinatra with Audrey Hepburn. Marilyn Monroe reads James Joyce's Ulysses in a playground circa 1955. Blackhawks and Maple Leafs looking for a contact lens, 1962. London, 1960s. Gene Simmons and a 13-year-old Brooke Shields, 1978. Christmas in the German Trenches, World War I, circa 1915. Police Officer John Shuttleworth, Waist High in Floodwaters, Cambridge, Ontario, 1974. Al Pacino and Simonetta Stefanelli in The Godfather, 1972. "17-year-old British model Twiggy wearing a hooded mini dress, London, 1967. Blizzard of 1888 in New York City, a storm which led to the death of more than 400 people. William Harley and Arthur Davidson, 1914s. Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio bowling, 1989. Pilot William C. Hobson of the U.S. Mail Service in winter uniform, 1926. President John F. Kennedy feeds a deer at Lassen Volcanic National Park, California, 1963. Concentration camp survivor. Tereska draws a picture of home, 1948. Today in 1969, the Beatles played on top. The Apple Building for 40 minutes was the last time they performed live. Paris, 1949. A Coast Guardsman inspects his helmet, hit by shrapnel in South France, circa 1940s. Last known photo of Biggie Smalls alive. Anne Frank holding a jump rope next to her friend, Sanne Lederman in Merweidplein, Amsterdam, 1935. The late great Robin Williams. Colonel Sanders chilling with Alice Cooper. The view south from atop the Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco, by Nat Farbman, 1955. A crowd gathers after Jumbo. The elephant is hit and killed by a train in Ontario, 1885. Simon and Garfunkel, 1968. Shaftesbury Avenue, from Piccadilly Circus, 1940s. The best things in life are free. The second best are very expensive. Store owners arm themselves to defend their stores in Koreatown, LA, during the 1992. Frank Sinatra attempting the tablecloth trick. Soldier shares a banana with a goat during the Battle of Saipan, 1944. Elijah Wood and Macaulay Culkin. A dinosaur being delivered to the Boston Museum of Science, 1984. American travelers building a sand replica of Mont Saint-Michel in France, 1948. Young Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Moss. Carrie Fisher with a 12-year-old Warwick Davis on the set of Return of the Jedi, 1982. A Russian soldier looking over Selimiye Mosque in Edirne, Turkey, circa 1878. Robert Overacker went over Niagara Falls for the homeless in '95. His parachute failed and he fell to his death. Only remaining image from original ending of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, 1981. Young Leonardo DiCaprio, 1995. The first picture of the Earth from space, taken from a captured German V-2 rocket by American scientists in 1946. Marlon Brando 1948. Nina, the bunker cat of the 20th Waffen, SS Grenadier Division, Narva, Estonia, circa 1944. Entrance to the Palladium nightclub in New York City, 1985. Barack and Michelle Obama on their wedding day, October 3rd, 1992. Ideal measurements for American women in the 1920s. Barricades in the streets of Paris during the French Revolution of 1848. A 5-year-old Anne Frank stands on the steps of her father's office. Amsterdam, 1934. Today in 1959, Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and Richie Valens died in a plane crash in Iowa. Sergeant Ken Kosakiewicz cries next to the body of his friend. Images from Carrie Fisher's private photo collection taken during the filming of Star Wars. The Puck Fair in Killorglin, County Kerry, Ireland, circa 1954. Bernie Sanders and his son, Levi, 1971. A French postcard with the tallest, shortest, and fattest men of Europe playing a game of cards, circa 1913. Charlie Chaplin cracking up while talking to Sophia Loren on set of A Countess from Hong Kong, 1966. David Bowie, Watch That Man 3, 1973. The original Star-Spangled Banner that flew over Fort McHenry. Photograph by George Henry Preble, circa 1873. Audrey Hepburn, Mel Ferrer, and Truman Capote. The Outsiders, 1983. Mother and son embrace after the son has escaped from the North Korean labor camp and returned to the South, 1950s. Easy-E skateboarding in Venice Beach, 1989. Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Happy 54th birthday to legendary frontman Axl Rose. A Winter Night in Paris, 1953. Woodstock, 1969. Johnny Cash Waiting to Play at Folsom Prison, 1968. Antarctica, From Space by NASA. Edinburgh, Scotland in the 1950s. Uma Thurman's mother, Nena von Schlebrügge, a model in the 60s. Women in the 1940s painting their legs to look like they're wearing stockings due to their scarcity during the war. Bob Dylan and Suze Rotolo, 1963. Martin Luther King being arrested for demanding service at a white-only restaurant in St. Augustine, Florida, 1964. A very handsome Native American couple, Situwuka and Kotkwakshneya, 1912. Judy Garland rehearsing a dance number for Babes on Broadway, 1941's. Will Ferrell as a student at USC, late 1980s. Grand Central Terminal, circa 1935. Marilyn Monroe, 1950. Vintage photo of African American family with their dog, 1910s. A British soldier hiding from the rain under an overturned Tiger tank. Italy, 1944. Baghdad, Iraq, 1960s. Vintage Disneyland. Manhattan, New York, from Brooklyn Bridge, 1946. Frank Sinatra with Audrey Hepburn. Central Perk on the set of Friends. Liberace and Elvis, 1956. Golden Gate Bridge construction, 1937. The Old Cincinnati Library, Ohio. Built in 1874. Harlem, New York, 1948. Mountain Chief, a Blackfoot chief, making a phonographic record at the Smithsonian. Commander Neil Armstrong making pizza at his home a few months before walking on the moon, 1969. Charlie Chaplin filming under the Eiffel Tower. Boston, 1975. Japanese girls receiving shooting training during school, 1930s. Led Zeppelin. This 102-old man has driven the same Rolls-Royce for 82 years, a 1928 Rolls-Royce. View of Lower Manhattan from the Staten Island Ferry, New York City, 1951. The Doors, 1969. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. City of London, after a German air raid, 1940. Princess Diana with Mother Teresa in New York, 1997. The End of Prohibition. Sophia Loren playing pool, circa 1950s. The same street, 69 years apart. 6th Armored Division troops from Patton's 3rd Army moved through Oberdorla, 1945. Freddie Mercury, born Farrokh Bulsara, on 5th of September, 1946 on the island of Zanzibar. Salvador Dali, photographed by Philippe Halsman. It took 28 attempts to get this perfectly timed shot. 1948. A soldier in uniform with 3 medals in Paris in 1918. His left leg has been replaced by an artificial limb. Disneyland, 1961. A Parisian woman and her cheetah, 1932. Anne Margaret. Brighton Swimming Club, 1863. Grace Kelly on vacation in Jamaica, 1955. Five Australian former POWs catch up on news after their release from Japanese captivity in Singapore, September 1945. Jerry Seinfeld on the first day of filming Seinfeld in 1989. Climbing Mount Rainier, 1963. Walt Disney and Salvador Dali on a boat, Spain, 1957. Russian man, Nikolai Machulyak, feeding a polar bear and his cubs with condensed milk, 1976. Nancy Kovac in a bridal bikini, 1960. Pregnant Jackie Kennedy enjoying a cigarette, 1963. Beastie Boys chasing Madonna with squirt guns. Michael Jackson, Francis Coppola, and George Lucas together, 1986. The recording of the MGM Lion, 1929. Greta Garbo and Leo the MGM Lion, 1926. On the set of Star Wars. Mount Rushmore before the carving. Rockettes before a show at the Radio City Music Hall, New York, 1949. A swimming lesson in the Thames, 1906. Graf Zeppelin over Egypt, 1931. Steve Jobs and Bill Gates discuss the PC's future. Jobs' Palo Alto home, 1991. Arctic explorer Peter Freuchen and his wife Dagmar Gale. Original Michelin, 1910. Segregation, Shady Grove, Alabama, 1956. The Man in the Rain by Ruth Orkin, New York, 1952. Former United States Secretary of State Colin Powell was doing selfies 60 years before you Facebook folks. Angelina Jolie, 90s. Walt and Lillian Disney with Mickey, 1935. Paul Newman, July 1965. Oasis at Main Road, Manchester, 1996. Elizabeth Taylor and James Dean, 1955. Football team of British soldiers with gas masks, Western Front, 1916. Tri Delta Sorority Sisters, University of Texas, 1944. John F. Kennedy, 1937. Kurt and Frances Bean Cobain. Queen Elizabeth II and her first corgi puppy, Susan, 1944. Frank Sinatra, Natalie Wood and Sammy Davis, Jr., 1965. Tattoo parlor in the 1920s. Roller skating in Chicago, 1979. George Litwin, 4 years old, carrying a sign during the Detroit Mother's Day Peace Parade, 1940. The first Miss America contest, 1921. Leo Tolstoy with his granddaughter, Yasnaya Polyana, circa 1910. The Plaza de la República, Buenos Aires, in 1936. Debbie Reynolds, 1953. French teenagers on a boat on the Seine River, Paris, 1988. An East German guard throws a ball back over the Berlin Wall. By Paul Schutzer, 1962. Steven Spielberg and E.T., 1982. Celebrating the End of Prohibition, 1933. (1956) FA Cup Final. Manchester City goalkeeper Bert Trautmann played the last 15 minutes with a broken neck. The Mickey Mouse gas mask, designed to reduce kids' fear for attacks in World War II. Elvis Presley during the filming of Love Me Tender, 1956. Indian suffragists in London, circa 1911. Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill at the 1977 Star Wars premiere. Three-time Oscar-winning actress, the lovely Ingrid Bergman, 1945. Teen Party in 1947. USS Arizona on the East River, New York City, 1916. Children dancing at the streets of New York, 1940. Kissing couple in the 1920s. Roald Dahl with the Oompa Loompa actors on the set of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971. The London Underground, Now and Then. The morning after a long night, awaiting a Viet Cong ambush that never came. 40 miles east of Saigon, Vietnam, 1965. Empire State Building acrobats. Shirley Temple with her namesake doll, on board to Hawaii, 1937. That was today's journey into the past. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. There are so many more forgotten stories waiting to be uncovered.